Life after the military was very, very, very difficult for me.
When I got out of the military, I had taken in so much of the pain and did not give myself a vent for it. So after getting out, I became one of the at-risk homeless veterans on the street suffering with mental illness and high anxiety.
I ended up finding myself selling drugs, doing drugs.
You know, wine led on to me doing crack. And then I became homeless, doing things, always getting arrested, going to jail.
That ended up leading me into being incarcerated almost 30 times.
That became a cycle for me.
Hello, my name is Valerie James. I am a 13-year proud serving Army veteran with one tour to Afghanistan. I'm also the CEO and founder of Veteran Advocate Services and Training, affectionately known as VAST.
There really is no one answer to why veterans end up homeless. But when they are homeless on the streets, it's a very, very sad and difficult situation. They're isolated. They don't have, of course, shelter, so they're exposed to elements. Oftentimes, if they try to go to a shelter, it's unsafe. A lot of veterans say, I'd rather be on the street than in a shelter.
Well, you know, I was on the street and it was very difficult. I will tell you, nobody likes to talk about their time on the streets. It is very scary. It is not safe. You don't know what's going to happen from one day to the other. And little things like, where are you going to get water? Where are you going to use the restroom? What are you going to do if it starts raining or if it gets cold? All those things are important to you and you just don't have any answers. And when you've been in control of yourself your entire life and you have that insecurity, you just don't feel very good about yourself.
We had one guy who chose to be homeless for 17 years because he thought he was the problem in the relationship. He was a combat vet after he came home from combat, kept on like just not feeling like he was fitting in the places where he needed to be, so he chose to be homeless. He chose to remove himself from the situation.
My life was about being around basically homeless people and addicts. And to me, that was the norm. And, you know, in my eyesight, that was the norm. Although I knew better. So my last time that I was going to jail, I was like, something has to stop, you know. I actually prayed. I would pray while I was hitting the crack pipe, you know.
But Valerie, I'd heard of her. She was a prior resident there. She had been somebody who had gone through the program. And the thing about Valerie is, when you meet her, it's you and her. You make a connection. She looks you in the eye. How are you? How are you enjoying yourself? You know, she wants to know about you, your experiences. Do you need anything? Is there anything that she can do to help you? And you know, it means a lot.
Like a drug addict, that, okay, so I'll get out of jail tomorrow. I won't have to go to TDC or none of that. I'll get out tomorrow. And I had a little money in my property, and my first thought was, as soon as I get out, I'll go up there to the ward and I'm gonna go get me some crack. That's what I was thinking.
Veterans, firefighters, police, we enter those jobs that could possibly kill us because we need to feel like heroes. You can't medicate away bad coping skills. All you can do is help teach people how to cope. A medication becomes the coping skill. And that's where you have addiction. People become addicted to a prescription just as easy as they become addicted to street drugs. And VAST recognizes that. So if you're coming to us to medicate someone or give somebody else some new medication, sometimes, no, don't get me wrong, sometimes medication is necessary. But even in that instance, it takes a lot of education to what's going on and a lot of coping skill training, which is something else we do in and out of the jails.
Well, sure enough, it was Valerie and some driver that I knew at that time, but I remember Valerie because me being transgender, I was transgender at that time, and me being transgender, I was, oh wow, now I'm sober, I'm in the real world, you know, and it's like, I don't know how these people are going to be to me. Me being kind of sensitive like that, it's like, and I know once, if it's hot in the kitchen, I'm going to get out. It can just be warm. And, you know, if I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to leave.
You may not be able to get a veteran and their family members to the VA for mental health, substance use, or the homeless services that the VA offers. But another veteran can walk them right through that door.
And I kept bugging Valerie about, am I going to be okay? She said, don't worry about anything. You're going to be fine. You're going to, and the way she said it to me is what made me kind of believe it, because the conviction in her voice.
Once he found out that, you know, there's ways that you can work on these issues, he hasn't had a problem of coming back since. But he was, during that 17 years, in and out of custody because of the homelessness, trespassing, substance use, mental health stuff, different things that he was not ready to address.
Valerie opened up all these different doors. And I would just say doors, she opened up windows to me as well, like when you walk into some place, to volunteer. And she reminded me so much in the military, like we always need some direction. Valerie was very good at direction.
So to stop the vicious cycle, you need peer mentors, which VASS has. The second thing you need is not just that one-off. You have to have somebody to walk that journey. Have someone that takes them into the housing community, get them housed, then get them food, and once they're stabilized with food and housing, then you make sure they get that mental health assistance they need.
It was because of Valerie that opened up the doors for me. Because what she's doing will, for a person like me, having aphasia, which affects our cognitive abilities, she can open up doors for other people. Because although I came here not being able to order from McDonald's, she opened up so many doors for me to just keep learning and not giving up. It was the energy that she gave me, and she just, it's kind of like going someplace and someone's feeding you. She has fed me with so much to make my life better.
And then the biggest thing that we do, when we stabilize a veteran and their family members, we then take them and put them on the path of serving others. We get some of our community partners to pay for them to be state certified as mental health peer specialists.
I'm going to be working on my mental health peer support specialist certification, which is going to allow for me to be able to help people who have different challenges in their lives and be able to not only give them a sense of hope that they can overcome whatever barriers that they face, but I can also utilize some of the things that I've been in my life to let them know that they're not alone.
Veterans tend to work together. Iron sharpens iron.
Veterans don't end up back in jail if they're of service to other people. One thing we do yearly, and it's so amazing, we get to take about 50 veterans. The VA, Michael E. DeBakey, uses their buses to transport them. And we take them down to a lake where they can do some equine therapy, fish, eat, and just relax, get away from the concrete jungle for a while.
It was a really, truly great experience. I learned a lot, and it was able to allow for me to be able to mature into the man that I have become today.
I would truly love for people to support what Valerie is doing. Her organization is vast, and she is amazing. Trust me, she knows all the different organizations for resources.
At VAST, we are excited to announce a couple of new things we're doing. One, we're going to open up the first Texas veteran adult daycare. We'll be able to have close to 300 veterans, and what that'll do is if you have veterans who are in their homes isolating, we can bring them down into one space where they can have camaraderie, and we serve hot meals as well and do events with them. So we're also very excited that we started a library at the campus of Cloudbreak. which holds close to 400 previously homeless veterans, mostly previously homeless veterans. And then we got an installation put in of free computers, because a lot of times people with free Wi-Fi, so they can get in touch with their families via email, check their emails, check for jobs. So we have some great things going on at VAST.
It didn't take long before we all saw the genius that Valerie has exhibited after leaving here and starting her own nonprofit organization called VAST.
What we're going to be doing in the future is to try and open up, no, not try, we're going to open up housing where we can lease apartments and get people off the street immediately. To get them vouchers right now, it could take up to 2 or 3 weeks. In those 2 or 3 weeks, a person can come right out of jail and just get back into drugs or get into so much trouble. They end up waiting on the street 3 weeks to be housed. We can get them directly in with us, give some programming, give some, separate them from the street. So by the time we move them over to their own place, they're a little more stable versus just taking them off the street and putting them in the apartment, which tends to fail a lot.
Definitely support Valerie in her organization, VAST, because again, if it wasn't for her, I would not be where I'm right now.
Veterans have to have people that walk the walk and talk the talk, been through it, who can say, hey, I've been homeless too. If you care to support our journey, please go on to vasttexas.org and donate time, money, whatever you have, we'll take it.